In the headlines, the public challenge to end the stigma against cervical cancer, a steering committee to chart the way forward for the Association of Music Professionals, and the United States rejoins the World Health Organization and the push for vaccine access for poor countries. I'm Andrea Lee with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, a challenge to the Dominican public to end the stigma against cervical cancer. Here is Julian Morris with more.
January is being observed as Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and the Dominica Cancer Society has joined the international community to raise awareness on this health issue affecting women. President of the Dominica Cancer Society, Yvonne Alexander, says there is a stigma attached to cervical cancer, which makes women reluctant to speak about the issue and subsequently do the necessary health screenings. Alexander urged the public to be more open-minded on the topic, just as they are with breast cancer, in order to save lives.
I think probably there is a lot more awareness about breast cancer, simply because it's probably easier for women to speak about breast cancer. It's the breast. Cervical cancer is a little more intimate. It's the cervix is at the neck of the womb. The pap smear is a very intimate procedure, and many women do not like to speak about it. Many women do not like to speak about it, and many women shun requesting a pap smear.
Alexander says the society is utilizing a variety of platforms and activities to reach a wide cross-section of women.
We had a cervical cancer survivor who is also a healthcare provider, share her story about how she was screened and discovered to have cervical cancer and how she was treated, and more than 10 years later she's still alive. So we are sharing this type of stories as well to encourage women to have their pap smears done. Yes. So this is really all we can do, is speak about it, raise the awareness, encourage individuals, families to have the discussion with each other.
Cervical cancer is the second most common cancer affecting women in Dominica. Women are being urged to be proactive in getting their pap smears done, and Alexander says the society is willing to help.
Let us be very clear. A pap smear costs you nothing, because you can walk into any health center and request a pap smear. So the pap smear costs you nothing. And the Cancer Society is even willing to assist with the payment of the lab, the analysis at the lab, if that's what we have to do. That was part of our discussion at the board level. So please do not make an issue of the fact that I don't have money to go to the doctor, because you can walk into any health center and make an appointment to have a pap smear done.
A special cervical cancer screening has been organized for the Roseau Health District for Saturday, 23rd January.
In more job stories, Prime Minister Skerrit has congratulated President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, who were both sworn in on Wednesday. The Prime Minister's short Facebook message reads, "On behalf of Dominica, I congratulate U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris on assuming office. I look forward to working with the U.S. in building a stronger and resilient world for all of us. We stand united in addressing common challenges, whether it is climate change or COVID-19. With the new Biden-Harris administration now in place, what can the Caribbean expect in terms of improved relations with Washington?" Specialist in international trade policy and international politics, Elizabeth Morgan, said in November last year, "With this change of administration coming in January 2021, we should not delude ourselves, however, that there will be any significant change in U.S. foreign policy towards the Caribbean." She continued, "We can continue to expect that U.S. policy will be shaped primarily by concern about China's influence in the region, the unstable situation in Venezuela, energy, security, and immigration." Speaking to DBS TV, St. Lucia political commentator Earl Bosque agrees with Elizabeth Morgan's perspective on U.S.-Caribbean relations regardless of the party in power.
Speaking of diplomatic ties between St. Lucia and the U.S., Mr. Busquet does not anticipate any major changes. St. Lucia, he says, has always paid political allegiance to whichever president is in office at the time, but the U.S. has never recognized St. Lucia or the English-speaking Caribbean as a base for investment, viewing the regional markets as insignificant.
Never mind the Caribbean Basin Initiative and all of the promises that are made. American investors consider our markets too small and the returns on investment too small to invest in St. Lucia and Caribbean countries. So we keep getting all the promises, as we will, from President Biden. But the reality is that our economies are too small.
In more news, a steering committee has been selected to chart the way forward for the Association of Music Professionals, AMP. The Association of Music Professionals was registered in Dominica in 2007 with the aim of providing practitioners in the music industry with adequate representation and training in various aspects of the industry in order to bring about a more efficient and less contentious operation of the industry. According to a press release from the Association of Music Professionals, AMP's efforts to continue on its mission was halted by the occurrence of Hurricane Maria in 2017 and the COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, which caused government funding to be diverted to other areas of the economy. Late last year, current and potential members met amid calls to work together for the betterment of those in the creative industries, as the artists were also severely impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. A steering committee was selected to lead the revitalized AMP, and top on its agenda are a membership drive to recruit additional practitioners, redesign of application and admission process through use of electronic forms, and the election of a new executive. Music is a multi-billion-dollar industry worldwide, and AMP believes it is time that Dominican music professionals stake their claim in the business. AMP is encouraging any music professional wanting to see a positive change in the industry to join the movement and bring about the much-needed transformation artists deserve. In other developments, the Division of Culture is not to be left out, as mainstay events have moved to a virtual platform for what would have been the carnival season. Julian Morris has that story.
The cancellation of Carnival 2021 has forced event organizers onto online platforms to provide some type of carnival-related activity. While pageants and other major events have been called off this year, the Dominica Calypso Association, Stardom Tent and the Showdown Mass Camp have all committed to providing virtual calypso shows. Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says the Cultural Division is also looking to utilize the online platforms to promote the cultural aspects of Dominica's Carnival.
Cultural Division, we would want to do a couple of virtual events as well. Most likely Steel Band, and we usually do the Old Mass Festival every year. That's Cultural Division. We may do a type of virtual type activity, all in keeping with the protocols and the guidelines and so. So while Carnival might be officially cancelled, but I think the spirit of Carnival is what would prevail in certain aspects of it. What can be done, what can still be done, but keeping within the guidelines and protocols of the Ministry of Health.
The Chief Cultural Officer also says past experience with virtual events have proved to be successful and is looking forward to giving Carnival-themed events the same exposure.
We did 3 events, well, 2 during the Independence and then the Golden Drum Awards, which went very successfully. So it was the whole aim of it was to be an online, activity. So it was captured on Facebook and YouTube and MO News and you name it, on radio as well. They all went very well. So I think we can do one or two activities, events in the same manner, in the same way, and simply help to promote aspects of the culture that are usually popular at carnival time.
Lawrence commended the Ministry of Health and other authorities in its COVID-19 management and urged the Dominicans to adhere to the guidelines.
Dominica has been doing very, very well in terms of COVID, relatively speaking, when you compare with other islands and countries in the world. So we don't want to compromise that kind of fairly successful situation, I would say, we've had with the control and management of the COVID. So the large, very, very large gatherings of people, like for instance in a jump up, I don't think it's not a wise thing to do at this time. But what we call now the virtual events, I think, and as long as the police give permission, because of course the police have asked that everybody apply for permission, as long as they give the permission, then I think those events can still take place.
You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD. All for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid. But there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves on Monday again rejected the imposition of curfews, a state of emergency, and outright lockdown measures in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. He has, however, announced the public holidays this coming Friday and Monday.
Accordingly, earlier today, I instructed the Honorable Attorney General to prepare and cause to be published in the Gazette the requisite legal instrument proclaiming Friday, January the 22nd and Monday, January the 25th to be public holidays. These are holidays for public health. So we will pause, reflect, act inclusively in solidarity with one another and pledge to stay fully engaged to confront head-on our existing and prospective challenges. In this coming weekend, Friday to Monday, we will stay at home, stay away from the beaches or mass gatherings or places of entertainment or leisure. Let's reduce the extent of the movement of persons on these days.
Businesses have also been asked to consider Saturday a bank holiday. Gonsalves said the strain of the pandemic and the ongoing effusive eruption of the La Soufrière volcano were beginning to show on the faces of citizens.
I sense that across our nation, the faces of men and women are strained and anxious about the increase in the local COVID cases, the effusive oozing eruption of La Soufrière, the socioeconomic challenges ahead this year, and the uncertainties and the unknowns before us. To be sure, this anxiety among our people is mixed with a resolve that our faith, our indomitable spirit will see us through successfully these awesome challenges. Yet we perhaps need, as a people, to pause, to reflect, to act more assuredly in ways which are inclusive, in solidarity with one another, and be engaged fully for the long haul ahead.
Since December 28th, the number of COVID-19 cases recorded in St. Vincent and the Grenadines has increased about five-fold, reaching 494 on Monday. St. Vincent and the Grenadines is looking to source COVID-19 vaccines from various countries, including Russia. Prime Minister Gonzalez says 3,000 vaccines have been promised, but approval must be obtained first from the WHO and the Caribbean Public Health Agency, CARPHA, to facilitate the acquisition.
To get immediately 3,000 doses for 3,000 persons from Russia for the Sputnik vaccine, but we're not moving on that other than keeping in communication until the WHO and CARPHA give the okay, because the WHO has engaged the institute in Russia which produces this vaccine with pre-qualification discussions. At the moment, the WHO has done only Pfizer. Very shortly they're going to do Moderna, and then a little bit later they're going to do AstraZeneca, the Oxford vaccine.
St. Vincent and the Grenadines is exploring additional possibilities for sourcing vaccines, including from Cuba, India, and Russia, subject always to the requisite authorizations through the WHO and or CARPHA.
On 15th January, a 49-year-old female with multiple pre-existing conditions became St. Vincent and the Grenadines' first recorded COVID-19 related death. 450 cases of COVID-19 have been reported in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And resuming membership in the World Health Organization could have benefits for small middle-income countries like Dominica in terms of increased access to COVID-19 vaccines. The United States top medical official said Thursday that the United States will now join the World Health Organization's global initiative to help poor nations overcome COVID-19. The new Biden administration is re-establishing ties with the World Health Organization, WHO, severed by President Trump. Chief Medical Advisor to President Biden, Dr. Anthony Fauci, delivered this statement during a WHO Executive Board meeting.
Yesterday, President Biden signed letters retracting the previous administration's announcement to withdraw from the organization. And those letters have been transmitted to the Secretary General of the United Nations and to you, Dr. Tedros, my dear friend. In addition to retracting the notification of withdrawal and retaining membership in the WHO, the United States will cease the drawdown of United States staff seconded to the WHO and will resume regular engagement of U.S. government personnel with the WHO both directly and through our WHO collaborating centers. The United States also intends to fulfill its financial obligations to the organization. The United States sees technical collaboration at all levels as a fundamental part of our relationship with WHO, one that we value deeply and will look to strengthen going forward. As a WHO member state, the United States will work constructively with partners to strengthen and, importantly, to reform the WHO, to help lead the collective effort to strengthen the international COVID-19 response and address its secondary impacts on people, communities, and health systems around the world. The Biden administration also intends to be fully engaged in advancing global health, supporting global health security and the global health security agenda, and building a healthier future for all people. I am also pleased to announce today that the United States plans to work multilaterally to respond to and recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. President Biden will issue a directive later today, which will include the intent of the United States to join COVAX and support the ACT Accelerator to advance multilateral efforts for COVID-19 vaccine, therapeutic, and diagnostic distribution, equitable access, and research and development.
Director of the Pan American Health Organization, Dr. Carissa Etienne, has explained how important the work of COVAX is in ensuring the middle-income countries have access to vaccines.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. The public challenge to end the stigma against cervical cancer. A steering committee to chart the way forward for the Association of Music Professionals. And the United States rejoins the World Health Organization and the push for vaccine access for poor countries. Feel free to access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Andrea Louis. And to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.